This video will explain the auto detection feature in SpecView. Some instruments have an identity code which will tell SpecView what kind of instrument it is. How this is done varies from instrument to instrument, and not all instruments support the auto detection feature. Visit our website to see which instruments can be auto detected and which have to be selected using manual configuration. When you start SpecView, this button shows you which project was last being used, and clicking the button will take you straight online to that project. In this case, it is the first use, so it is blank. To start our new project, click Select Create Project. The Projects box is shown. Click Test Comms for New Project. Enter a name. We will call it AutoDetect. This name is used as the name of a subfolder under your SpecView installation folder, which is normally called SV3. Click OK, and the Ports and Protocols box is shown. On this dialog box, Windows is reporting to SpecView that COM1, 2, 3 and 4 are installed on this computer. You may have to use Device Manager to see the details of your COM ports. You do not need to adjust the port settings in Device Manager, that is done by SpecView. We will discuss the TCP/IP settings later. If you have more than one instrument, before starting it is a good idea to have a list of the controllers in your project, what their address settings are, and what name you would like to call each one. For example, address 1 may be the top zone, address 2 the center zone, address 3 the bottom zone. In this demonstration, we have two Procon data acquisition modules connected to a serial port, COM3. We have an 8-channel thermocouple module and an 8-channel milliamp module. We're going to call them TempMon and PressMon. You want to try and compromise between a fully descriptive name and the length of the name. Long names take space on the screen and can be awkward in log reports. To get started, we need to tell SpecView which COM port or ports we are going to use and the family the instruments belong to. In this case, the COM port is 3 and the family is Procon. Click on the protocol for COM3, scroll down and select Procon modules. If you are not sure of the baud rate setting, leave it at auto. If you know that the settings in the instrument are not the default settings that are used by SpecView, or you are not sure what SpecView's default settings are, click the Settings button and change as required. For example, one brand of controller has default Modbus settings of 8 data bits, even parity and 1 stop bit. SpecView's defaults are 8 data bits, no parity and 1 stop bit, which is the standard used by most manufacturers. If we had this brand and we had left it at their defaults, we would change the settings to 8E1. In this case, we're using the driver default settings. If in doubt, try the default settings first. We are now ready to start. Click Start Scan. The first module is detected. SpecView suggests a name, but we want to edit this to TempMon, short for temperature monitor. Modbus protocol, which is what this and many instruments use, does not normally supply decimal point information. Since this module will read to 1/10 of a degree, we specify 1 dp. This will tell SpecView to divide the number by 10 and add a decimal. So 1234 coming from the instrument will be displayed as 123.4. If you want to accept the suggested name, just click OK. If you check this box, SpecView will auto find all the instruments and assign them the default names. You can assign this instrument to a group. That topic is covered in the videos on the variables list. Because we have a check mark in this box, Auto Build GDW View, SpecView will add an instrument view to the screen as it finds each one. Click OK to accept this and move on to the next one. The next instrument is discovered, and we're going to call this one PressMon for pressure monitor. SpecView has remembered that we wanted one decimal place and has suggested this, and we will accept that. Click OK, and it carries on scanning. If you have another COM port to check, or to check TCP/IP, click Skip to the next port. We've found all the instruments that we have connected, so we click Stop. SpecView gives you the opportunity to go back and rescan. This is very useful if you're not sure of your settings. In this case, we have found the instruments that we know are connected, so we can click OK. The Ports and Protocols box closes, and SpecView starts reading values from the instruments. Click the red V to open the variables list, and our two modules are in the list. You are now ready to start building your SpecView project.